Hello and welcome into a Matt O'Leary live stream. What is going on? I am so excited to be hanging out with you on this lovely Wednesday evening here. Day one of training camp has come and gone, and there are so many storylines. There was so many storylines from today that I wanted to go live. We'll talk through it together. I have a few that I want to hit on. We'll go through the comments. You guys know the drill. If you want to send in a super chat to guarantee you have your question answered, you could do that. But other than that, man, we're just going to go through and talk about a ton of different things that happened today for the New York Jets. A lot of positive, including some jersey leaks. There were some signings, and I think we have to start with maybe the prettiest thing of all. Shall we pull it up? Aaron freaking Rodgers in a New York Jets jersey with shoulder pads. I mean, we've seen it. We saw him hold it up. We saw him in the OTA getup. But as the tweet says, not an AI generated photo. Aaron Rodgers is there, baby, in full uniform for picture day. Things you just absolutely love to see. The quarterback QB1 there in the building. Love that. Thank you all for coming to hang out. I see a bunch of people in the chat already. What's going on, guys? I hope you are having a good day. I know that I am, as we have a lot to talk about today, Jets related. As I said, you got the news that Aaron Rodgers was there, but this was also pretty important as the New York Jets had two guys left that they had to sign going into today in their first and second round picks. So Will McDonald officially agrees to his rookie contract. He gets there. We don't have to talk about offset language. Remember with Sam Darnold and then Zach Wilson, it was, oh my God, the offset language is going to be late to training camp. Got him in there, got it figured out. I know I pulled up the picture for the tweet for Will McDonald, but he was not the only one who was signed today to their rookie deal. Joe Tippmann was as well. So you have a ton of really, positives here as everyone is there. There's no excuses. No one's missing out on the fun. Everybody's there. They're reported, and practice starts tomorrow. Ooh, I blinked. I didn't like that. I blinked black. I gotta keep an eye on that with this camera. I don't know what's going on with that camera. But practice starts tomorrow. And I blinked again. I'm switching back to the meme. So that's a positive. You gotta love that. And someone who won't be limited in practice is our guy, Elijah Vera Tucker. He says that he doesn't expect to be limited when practices begin tomorrow, which is really great news. Unfortunately, he was lost for the season after the Denver Broncos game, along with Breece Hall. More on Breece Hall in a second. But with this one on AVT, with him not, expecting to be limited, that is a major, major plus. Getting him back in there, getting him ready to go. And one of my favorite things from this specifically is he has a position and is more than likely going to stick with it. He started last year at right guard. Due to injuries, he played left tackle against Pittsburgh and then ended up playing right tackle for the weeks following before his injury. So he was used all over the football field for this team last year, and I love how versatile he is, that you can be comfortable playing him at either left tackle or right tackle. But let's be honest here, getting him in one spot and letting him have an offseason and a training camp and hell, dare I say, a full season at one spot is only going to be a good thing for his development. That is something that I am truly, truly excited about. But it wasn't all positive news on the injury front, but I don't think anyone should go absolutely nuts on this one because I think people are afraid of the pup list. And so I'll pull it up. We'll share this tab instead. We'll switch it up. So the Jets placed Breece Hall, Randall Cobb, CJ Uzama, Jarek Bernard-Converse on the pup list to open training camp. Key word from Tom Pelissero here. They could be activated at any point. They're going to bring it on slow with Randall Cobb and CJ Uzama are vets. And if there's any sort of lingering injury, there's no reason to be running them out at this point in the training camp. As for Brees Hall, you want him ready to go for the regular season. And, he probably won't look like himself until maybe October, but this was expected. I don't know why anyone was going absolutely nuts over this one, but we had, some reactions. There were, let's face it, people were panicked, and really not all that surprising when, like, I don't know, it could be a week or two and Brees Hall's is going to be off that list. Who knows? We'll keep a close eye on it over the next, few days and few weeks. But I don't really think that there's any reason to, be all that much concerned with this group. It's or with any of these guys in this group. It's crazy to me. I don't get why there's this, you know, overreaction. And then a couple other notes, and I want to get into the comments. We'll go into more detail on all these comments as well. Whatever you guys want to talk about and get into, we'll do. So Denzel Mims not released officially, despite informing him of their plans. This keeps the open possibility of a trade. I think it'd be pretty unlikely if he does get traded. Um, who knows? Supposedly Dallas, New England, Pittsburgh are all teams that I've seen rumored. I'd be surprised if they got anything for Denzel, but I certainly did not think you were going to get a draft pick for Blake Cashman, and they did that. Really unfortunate day for fans of Denzel Mims. I see a comment in here from Jay-Z Jet fan. What's up, Matt? Have you checked in on Green Bean? Is he heartbroken over Mims? So I got that message. I can't even tell you how many times today. So I texted him. I said, Green Bean, you doing okay after the Mims news? And the direct quote from Green Bean is, "It's a day that will live in infamy." He was a good sport about it. But yeah, Green Bean's guy, Denzel Mims, no longer a New York Jet. Well, technically, he is still a member of the team. He hasn't been released yet, but it's trending in that direction. It looks like that's going to be the case there. And last thing before I open up for more comments on this, I just pulled that up because I wanted to hit on the Denzel Mims stuff, or at least have that for while we were talking about Denzel Mims, and it's unfortunate, but this is a dandy. This was leaked to me, and it made the rounds on the internet. But if you haven't seen it, let's roll it. We could pause it right here. That is a leaked New York Jets uniform. That was not supposed to be shared. The tweet was deleted almost immediately, very shortly after it was, tweeted at me. I quote tweeted, "Is like, are we getting throwback jerseys?" And then kind of made the rounds a little bit online. And then the account was deleted. So supposedly it was an intern of not someone with the Jets, a photog. So an intern of a photography intern spilled the beans. But I have in pretty good faith, and I know some people are like, "Oh, well, maybe that's not what it really is. We shouldn't really say the Jets are getting, 80s style throwbacks." It's coming. I can tell you, it hasn't been officially announced yet, but it is coming down the pike. It is going to be the white jerseys with the green collar, green helmet, the Jets logo on the Jets logo, obviously. I mean, that one, that logo on the side of the helmet. I can't wait. We've been calling for this for a really long time. I could have just did this. Could have just pulled this up. I have it over here. This guy. This is beautiful dandy. And we have a piece of Muhammad Wilkerson's jersey hanging from it. That's what this is, if you ever saw it and wanted to know what that was. So yeah, a really busy day. If you weren't following along, or if you didn't have the ability to be on Twitter for the entire day, you had Aaron Rodgers' first appearance in a full New York Jets uniform. You had AVT saying that he's not going to be limited. Brees Hall went on the pup list. People freaked out, even though he could be activated at any time. Denzel Mims going to be released or traded. He will not be a part of this New York Jets team going forward. And jerseys leaked, by the way. So yeah, it was a busy day in Jets land, a busy day. So that's why I wanted to hop on here and talk with you guys. So let's do that now. We'll open it up for comments. And Zachary Berner chimes in, says, "People don't understand the pup rules, and Hall could be back at any time." Yes, that is something that I think is super important to note during all of this, is that there is no, this is not IR. This is not he's done for the year. This is not he's done for 6 months. He's on this list for now, and they will take it slow, as they should. And maybe with that cap space that you will eventually save by moving or trading Denzel Mims, a little over 1 million. And you still have, after signing your two other rookies in Joe Tippmann and Will McDonald, over $20 million in cap space. You want to bring in Dalvin Cook? You want to bring back Quan Alexander? You have the room to do both if you really want to. That's been something Jet fans have talked about for months and months and months. Both players have been heavily linked to this team. Neither one of those guys are someone who would have to be there on day one of training camp and have the whole offseason. They're both vets. They've been there. They've done it. You can plug them in at any point and get this thing rolling. But yeah, it's, you know, who knows? Maybe with Brees starting on the pup list, maybe they do feel like they're going to want to bring a vet in. Leonard Fournette had a workout with the New England Patriots. That's another veteran back who's on the market. Kareem Hunt's still kicking around. Ezekiel Elliott hasn't been signed. There are some veteran options for the New York Jets if that's the route they so choose. Dalvin Cook, though, has been the one that's been linked the most. I'm excited. Frank says, wanted Mims to work out. Sad. Yeah, that was a bummer. Let's be honest with you, or I'll be, completely honest with you. I was hoping the Denzel Mims experiment would work out. I liked him a lot coming out of Baylor. I've had a late first round grade on him. I thought he was someone who could have went in the back half of that first round, in the late 20s. Or early second round. He begins to fall on, beginning of day 2. He's there for when the Jets were on the clock. I believe they initially had pick 48. Then they trade back in the draft, and they were still able to land him. They get Denzel Mims, after moving back, and I'm going, all right, great. And unfortunately, he was hurt to start the year. He comes in about halfway through the season, and was, relatively solid. He had about 300, between 300 and 400 yards. I think it was 357 was the exact number. Over 8 games, looked pretty solid as a rookie. Or, all right, take that step in the next year. They draft Elijah Moore, and the initial thought was, okay, it's Corey Davis, Elijah Moore, and Denzel Mims. That's going to be your trio. And then you get to training camp, and it's like Mims is running with the threes. And you're like, what? Why? That doesn't really make sense. And he's not really used a lot, in 2021. He had a bad training camp. And then, when he was utilized, he had some drop issues. And then last year was given some opportunities as well and didn't look, 100% the part. Drops are a big issue with him, and he'll get a fresh start somewhere. He's not going to be out of the league. And who knows, maybe the light switch comes on. It's hard to teach that size and speed, but, for whatever reason, something here wasn't working. And I think, it's really only a matter of time. And best case scenario for him, he would have been the 6th wide receiver on the depth chart for this team. And, he doesn't really give you much special teams value. So I don't really blame the Jets for wanting to go a different direction for the depth at their wide receiver spot. Really not that surprising at all. I can't say that I'm surprised. Zachary Burners in here says Clemens ready to kick ass this season. That's another one. I can't believe I forgot that or didn't show that one on the screen. Let's go back to the Jets. They had this rocking on social media. If you thought Michael Clemens' entrance from last year was special, well, how you beat this? Michael Clemens coming in with no shirt and the spiked bat like he's in The Walking Dead, ready to beat the crap out of some zombies, is going to be a monster for this New York Jets team. Now, he put on some weight, but in a good way. In a good way for Michael Clemens. He's up to around 290. He came in, I believe, last year as a rookie around 270 or somewhere in the low 270s. So he was a bigger edge who could kick inside with his extra weight that he's put on. Again, a good thing and a positive. He is more versatile to play on the inside where the Jets are weaker. They don't have as much depth on the interior because you have Quinnen, which obviously is the best player on that defensive line. But the second interior defensive line spot is kind of up for grabs. It could be Al Woods, Quentin Jefferson, Solomon Thomas, maybe on pass rushing situations, JFM can move inside, but don't count out Michael Clemens, man. He is absolutely someone who can move inside as well and really get in on the action. Sorry, just seeing this one now from Sai says explain the pup list. It stands for physically unable to perform. And that's just kind of a designation for a player. It doesn't really have, all that much meaning at this point in the off season train, or I guess technically it's training camp. So is it really off season anymore? It's starting. We're here. Training camp is here. Football season is here. It just means that they're not ready to go just yet. And it's not really a panic point. I don't think, now in, mid July, July 19th is time to worry about his being Brees Hall's, point in time. Jamie the Mad is hanging out with us here. Our favorite Chiefs fan says, how cool would it be if your Jets wore the 1969 jersey when you play the Chiefs the second time this season? Ooh, the second time this season. I like that. So you're saying that they're going to meet up in the playoffs? I do think that that's pretty likely. I don't think I'm talking out of school there by saying it. I'm not saying, first round matchup, but you know, could they be the one of the sorry, I can't talk right now. The Chiefs are probably going to be a 1 or a 2 seed. Would it shock you if they have to go to Arrowhead in the divisional round? If they, if they win their wild card game, that's the hope at least. I think that's absolutely on the table. I think that's absolutely on the table. That would look cool. That would look very cool. 2 traditional AFL, old school AFL, now AFC teams. Love that. Phil Adams is here. What is going on? Says, I'm sad the Mimsy dream is over. Only thing that'll make me feel better is an 80s throwback jersey release. Oh, it's going to come eventually. They're not going to announce it tonight. I'm sure they wanted to announce it on their own terms, but that is a legit leak. I can tell you that much. It is a legit leak. It is happening at some point. I have no idea when they are going to officially announce it. But at some point this year, the Jets will be rocking that, which is just the fans have been asking for it for so long. I love it. Mikey Mouse says, Matt, you looked a real Italian last night. Yeah, so Richie filled in for me from Jets Media on the Talking Jets panel. So I filled out my 10-year-old self's dream. I'll explain in a second. So late 90s, early 2000s, Matt O'Leary, one of his favorite things was like alternative rock slash pop rock, and Matchbox 20 was at Jones Beach. So if you're a Long Island person, you know the Jones Beach Theater, beautiful place to see a show. So Matchbox 20 was there. My girlfriend got me tickets a long time ago. It might have been for our anniversary or my birthday, but anyway, that was last night. So got to see Matchbox. That was really cool. And it felt very nostalgic. It put me to a time, an easier time where a young Matt O'Leary was listening to Matchbox. K Yeti says, "Come on, Matt. You know that was the most intentional, unintentional leak in history." No, that was very much so not intentional. It was an intern of the photography or NFL films guy. The Jets were pissed. Someone I know with the Jets said that their phones were after the leak was put out there and after the tweet was deleted, phones were confiscated for the rest of the time of the photo shoots. So the Jets were not happy. They were not happy at all. In fact, they were saying the person who took the picture, who tweeted it at me, was saying that, oh no, yeah, I asked him, I DM'd him. I said, can I share this on Instagram or do you is this supposed to be shared? He goes, you can do whatever you want with it. Okay. So I downloaded the video and I shared it on my Instagram. I shared it on TikTok. I made a YouTube short about it. And then he sent me a message. He's like, I got in trouble. They're pissed. They made me delete the tweet. And then not that long after, the account was gone. So I think Woody Johnson went here. This was what Woody Johnson and the crew did. Ready? I got to scroll back. I had a pretty nice meme about it. I said, and then my guy Just had a good one too. So I said Woody and the crew after finding who leaked the throwbacks, and it's the one of the greatest scenes from The Sopranos where no spoilers, but somebody gets whacked in this scene. It's a great scene. So and then my guy just quote tweets it. And he goes, "Careful, he's a hero." It's a Spider-Man meme with the profile picture photoshopped on top. Careful, he's a hero. That's great. Ooh, good question from Scott V. What do you think Aaron's cap hit this year will be? I don't I don't know what the exact restructure will look like. Maybe closer to that 15 million because wasn't that originally what it was going to be? Whereas 15, it was like 15 and then 32. Let's do this. Let's pull up a contract. With the Aaron Rodgers contract, really next year is the big problem. He has very little. I'm just going to minimize so that I could share this tab and we could see the whole thing on here. He has 2 years left on his deal. 1.25 and then $107.6 million. That is 42% of the cap. 0.5% of the cap to 42 freaking percent. That is going to get restructured. I'm going to guess around maybe 15 million would be my guess. And then they probably attack on. I think it's going to be more of an extension than anything because that's, I think, where people are getting the 3 year. This is going to be a 3 year thing from. So that's where I think that's originating from. That thought process. Again, I don't know. This is just opinion based. I think people are coming up and people, I mean, Connor Hughes and Boomer Esiason are assuming or know that it's going to be some sort of extension, which could be part of the reason why the Jets view this as a 3 year plan with Aaron Rodgers. Blitz Crew, what's going on, Blitz Crew? He says there are enough vet running backs in free agency still. Let's see who the young guys first and sign if need. Who is wide receiver 6? My guy, Jason Brownlee, I think has the inside track. He's an undrafted free agent. He's a big body receiver, so he's kind of similar skill set wise as a receiver to Denzel Mims, but he has more special teams value. He's played on special teams in college. He was, as I mentioned, Jason Brownlee, a UDFA this past year. He went to give me a Southern Miss. I knew it was a school in Mississippi. I couldn't come up with which school it was. He went to Southern Mississippi. A big body receiver, 6'2", 200 pounds, big wingspan. He was an older prospect, but I think there's something there for a back end of your wide receiver room. Is he going to be anything ever more than a wide receiver 5 or 6 on a team? Probably not. My guess would be no, but sometimes you find gems in UDFAs. The Jets found a stud UDFA receiver in Robbie Anderson in 2016. They found Bryce Huff in 2020. They found Bam Knight in 2022. They found Tony Adams, who they like a lot, in 2022. There's you can find guys sometimes. I'm trying to pull up this comment, but the chat froze. It says green beans in shambles. about Denzel. Oh no, poor green bean. Poor green bean. What do we got? Mikey Mouse says, "Don't think they can wear throwback jerseys in the playoff, can they? Probably not, but it would still be cool." Uh-oh. My video's frozen. Let's do this. Are we back? Yeah, there we go. Sorry about that. Mikey Mouse says, "Don't think they could wear throwback jerseys in the playoffs, can they? Probably not. It would look really cool though. I'm in on that." J Boy says the 80s logo is the one tattooed on me. I'll cry to see them in that uniform. Yeah, it's a really nice. I love that logo. I mean, obviously, I got it hanging up on the wall back there, but I really like that logo. I think it's one of the Jets' better ones. I think that they, did really well with that logo. It looks good. Even in the what I put out, excuse me, I'm gonna go find it on Twitter. It's a Zach Wilson swap, so bear with us as he's the player utilized in this Photoshop. But this is such a clean look. I'll pull that up. That it, one the green. Oh, I love that shade of green. I love that that logo on the side. It would just be flipped. The jersey that was shown in the leak was the white with the green number, the green collar, green helmet, white on white, which is my favorite. I love the white on white combos. You guys, if you've been following along with me, you've heard me say it. I really like that look. I find that the tweet was taken down. I lost that tab. So let me see if I could give you the comparison to yeah, here we go. Oh, it wants me to log into Instagram. Come on. All right, I'll find it on Twitter. Jets leak. I'm sure that will come up if you just do Jets leak. Oh yeah, here we go. If you look close, you could see the white with the let's pause it. Right there. White, green numbers, green socks, green helmet, white face mask, which is the best part, by the way. I'm not a fan of the black face mask, like when they had that on the 90s look, like the Boomer Esiason era Jets was the green with the black face mask or early Keyshawn. I like the green with the white personally. Phil Phil says person who took the photo got Clem's bat. Yeah, he is sleeping at the bottom of the ocean tonight. That poor kid. Oh my god, poor guy. Oh, thank you, King Jamie. He says Richie is awesome, by the way, guys. Him and Matt are the only Jets guys I really can turn to. Jets media is fun, and Matt does this in a very logical yet fun way. Sometimes I need Matt to give me other looks. That's totally good. I love that. I appreciate the kind words, King Jamie. I did a stream with him, with Richie on when was that? Tuesday morning, I guess. So yesterday, we previewed training camp. Love working with Richie. We did the stream for Jeremy Ruckert's signing, and he's a Long Island guy. So we're going to be working on stuff in the future together, collabing on things. It's always fun. Braden says, we're finally here, Matt. Woo. Who? Woohoo. I am amped up. I'm ready. It was a long off season, a really long off season. Not to say that it wasn't fun because it sure as hell was a lot of fun landing Aaron Rodgers. I love doing the draft stuff, but I'm ready now. It was, enough's enough. I'm ready to get this thing, geared forward, going in the right direction with the New York Jets getting ready to play football. And, that's another thing. They're what, a little over 2 weeks out, 15 days out, right? Not next Thursday, the Thursday after, the New York Jets are playing a preseason football game. And myself, we will have Jake Asman and we will have Boy Green. All three of us are doing an event. So if you're going to go out there to see them, come hang with us on Friday night. I'm going to pull it up for you guys and share it on the screen. It's at Jersey's in the Belden Village location. I'll pull it up. We'll share this tab. Bada bing, bada boom. So here we go. Friday, August 4th from 8 to midnight at Jersey Sports Grill in Belden Village in Canton, Ohio. There's some rumblings that there are going to be some celebrity guests, celebrity Jet fan guests are going to be attending. And I'm not talking myself. I'm not talking Jake Asman. I'm not talking Boy Green. As fun as the three of us getting together would be, I met Jake Asman down in Houston 2 years ago. Have not met Boy Green in person yet, so I'm excited for that. But there are some other celebrity Jet fans who are rumored to be in attendance, not confirmed, but rumored strong interest. So Sean says, do you think Cook will be a Jet? If for how much? I know he asked around 8 or 9 million, but I doubt he'll sign for anything more than 6. Yeah, I'm thinking it's going to end up being like 5 million. I think there's a realistic shot that he ends up being a New York Jet. I would put it at like over 50%. I'll say like 55%. I'll give like 30%, 35% Dolphins, and then the remaining percent is the field. I don't think he ends up in New England. I think it's the Jets or the Dolphins, and there's just been a lot of smoke with this Jets stuff, and who knows? Maybe like I said, Brees Hall is on the pup list, so perhaps that's a sign that they want to take it extremely slow, and maybe they'll add that veteran finally to the room. Matt's best version of freeze bean. That's great. Fantastic. Mr. Tibb says, you think Coons can block punts and field goals with his height? Now that's interesting. He's a big, big guy. So do you just put him on special teams and like have him jump up as high as he can and be like, hey, try to block this? That sounds like a Rex Ryan thing. Like, remember when Sheldon Richardson would play like fullback for what was that, 2013? I guess maybe a little 2014 also. They lined him up at fullback to block on offense. That feels like a Rex Ryan thing. Not the craziest thing we've ever heard, but interesting. Yeah. Do you think he could block punts and field goals with his height? He probably could. Why is Hard Knocks fucked up? What happened with Hard Knocks? Did I miss something? Calvin, let me know. I don't see any other comments from Calvin, but let me know if why Hard Knocks is messed up already. Kyle says, interesting day one. Michael Clemens has enough test in his DNA for an entire village. Dude is yoked. Palm 62. God bless. Jesus is the way. Thank you, Kyle, for the kind message. He is a mammoth human being, a absolute mammoth human being. I could not picture trying to block him. Can you imagine trying to sit there and block? I want to pull up the. I thought I tweeted it out. Who knows? I had a lot of. Oh yeah, here we go. Share this tab. Boom, boom. Look at him. Imagine trying to block that. You know, want to know how? The most intimidating thing about this, not the sunglasses, not the mean mug, not the chain, not the, crazy upper body, not the bat, not the watch. It's the black Air Forces. You do not mess with a guy in black Air Forces. Crazy. That's a good question. Are we live streaming at the bar? I don't believe we are. Maybe an impromptu one, but there's no set for a live. It's going to be very, very crowded there. There's like there's DJs. There's a live band. There's a few different rooms as well. There's 4 different rooms that we'll have access to. You'll have access to all different locations. We just have our main setup, the area that we will have reserved and seating and spots is in the parking lot and it's the parking lot, but it's their outside area where the live music is. We'll have a little area roped off and it should be fun. Should be a really good time. Oh, he did. Jake told us one person. Okay. Yeah. So if it's the one that he texted me, then I'll leave that as a surprise for now. V Man's hanging with us. What's up, V Man? Hope you're having a good day. Thoughts on the 80s uniforms coming back? I absolutely love the look. I can't get enough of it. I think it's fantastic. I love the logo. I love the white jersey on top of the white pants. It's clean, it's crisp, and I'm glad that they used the white face mask for it. Oh, for the leaked video? Because you think they wanted to use the jersey on Hard Knocks? Maybe. I would think they probably, you know what? The Jets would probably release it on One Jets Drive the day before the Hard Knocks episode leaks. But I don't know. I think they're going to have some other tricks up their sleeve for Hard Knocks. Mike asks, are you making it out for any training camps this year? I did not get tickets. Probably not. Just with how my schedule worked. I wanted to try to get up there. The only day that I may have a shot is that Sunday, the 30th, but I'm in Philadelphia the 28th and 29th, and I don't know if I'm coming back on the 30th or late on the 29th, so I don't know if I'd wanna turn right back around and go to Jersey after that. The main catch, what's up, man? Says, "Matt, thanks for the great content. Who do you think will be higher on the depth chart, Izzy or Carter?" I think by the end of the year, it'll end up being Izzy. I really like his speed and burst that he's going to add to this room. Now, I'm not all the way out on Michael Carter like a lot of people are. I do think he is a bounce back candidate. I think he showed enough as a rookie for us to buy in and people to believe that this guy can play and at this level. Unfortunately, last year did not look like that same guy. I don't know if it was just a nagging injury or who God knows what, but it just did not look like it was working very well for him. And maybe it was the offensive line too. Like Bam Knight started out the same way. He was hot, and then down the stretch, they couldn't get anybody going running the football. It was brutal. V-Man chimes in with a super chat. Thank you so much, V-Man, for the support. He says, off topic, who parties harder, Irish on St. Patrick's Day or Puerto Ricans on National Puerto Rican Day? Guess we need to ask McRican to find out. That's a very good question. I don't know. I would love to. Maybe we'll have to do some sort of way to track this, right? Where it's like, follow me around with a camera on St. Pat's. We'll go to the parade in the city. We'll go, out to the bars. We'll have some nice Jameson, and then for National Puerto Rican Day, we will follow V Man around on camera, and we will watch him go nuts. I love it. That's a great idea, V Man. Um, I think you can make the case for. I think you can make a strong case for either. I don't. I've never partied on National Puerto Rican Day, so that might have to change for me this year. Maybe we'll do a collab for that. Now, this is true. Rico the Pup says Dominicans party harder than both. That is true. I have a couple of my closest friends are Dominican, and my one friend Nick, who is a Dominican, he is one of the people that is one of my more party friends. So I do from experience, I would agree with this that Dominicans party harder. It's a tie in my opinion. Irish party and drink like crazy. that's that's true. Yes, in 2024. I mean, it passed this year for the next batch, the next go around. That's great. We got another one. Is it me or does Rodgers look ripped this year? There's some really good looking pictures of Aaron Rodgers working out. Let's see if we could pull that up. In his regular jersey picture from today, I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but let's see if there was the pictures of him. Yeah, here you go. Daily Mail. Are they gonna make me subscribe? No, I could share this. Okay, let's share the screen. Share this tab instead. Bang, we'll pull that up and we get the ad over it. But anyway, look at Aaron. Those arms, the blood flow going through the arms. He does look ripped. He looks like he's in great shape, especially when you consider he's 39 years old. Hell yeah. Okay, and he says, "When's Pollock American Day? Maybe we could do a get together." I have no idea. I don't know. That's a good question. I'm down, man. I am actually down. Mikey Mouse, another one. Is this true? There's actually a pretty decent sized Irish Puerto Rican population in PR. Oh, no, I freezed again. It's Mikey Mouse doing it to me. Anytime I click on the Mikey Mouse comment, I freeze. It's no good. He says there is actually a pretty decent sized Irish Puerto Rican population in PR, so they may party as hard as Dominicans. Maybe. Wow, imagine the collab. That's epic. Calvin says, "What's more likely, 40 plus touchdowns or 4,000 plus yards passing?" I think 4,000 yards passing is significantly easier to obtain, especially with the 17 games added. And I'm sure you could kind of make that case with 40 plus touchdowns, but I think you're looking at 41 to 4,200 passing yards for Rodgers and 30 to 35 touchdowns. He can't, I mean, we've seen him go over 40 in his career. I just think with how the Jets are gonna operate offensively, I think, Brees and the youngsters are gonna get their fair share of rushing touchdowns. So I don't know if I could predict him to go for like 40. I'm thinking 32 to 32 feels like the number that I'm gonna land on. Somewhere around that 32 touchdowns, around 4,200 yards passing. I think that makes a lot of sense. Dino says, everyone hit the like button. Yeah, absolutely. If you guys could please leave a like button, that would be greatly appreciated. Leave a like. You also subscribe to me. I appreciate it. We have the subscribers chat going right now. It's this is what we do in the off season. We put in the content still. We were putting in the work, but now is when we get to reap the rewards of everything just going on. The training camp's back. Real games are going to be back. It's the best. Jay Voice has got to have the freeze mat thing pop up when that happens. I should have that loaded in from the Talking Jets panel. That'd be great. Rico says, you heard anything on Zaire Barnes? You think he makes the roster, threaten Sherwood? Jet staff seems like they won't gift anything to anyone, and Sherwood paid his dues. Yeah, I think Barnes does make the roster, but as a special teamer, I don't think he's really much of a threat to Jamie and Sherwood. The Jets like him a lot, and CJ Mosley spoke very, very highly of him as well. I want to see if I could pull up I believe it was clipped today. If I find it now, I'll pop it up. All right, yeah, here we go. I lost my shared screen in that last freeze attack. That was no good. Here we go. I'm gonna just minimize you, Rico. He says CJ Mosley was asked about potential breakout players on the Jets defense, and he says he thinks Jamie Sherwood has a really good chance to show what he's all about. Says he's a playmaker. I like that. Good for Sherwood. Good on CJ Mosley. He's the leader of that defense. Q and Sauce are, the best players on that defense, but still, CJ Mosley's still the leader there to me on that defense. So, really appreciate that. Good stuff from him. Yeah, Jay boy, this was frustrating, and for 100% honest transparency. So for those who don't know, myself, Ryan, Green Bean, the Talking Jets panel every Tuesday night, we do it. We are going to Jets Chargers. We're doing a group ticket buy. So with the package, you get a tailgate, you get a ticket to go to the game, and you get an experience. Now, unfortunately, we originally were told that it was going to be post game access. Instead, that is going to be moved to a pregame access. But positive spin on that, watching the team come running out of the tunnel or being on the field during warmups, that could be pretty cool. Because as fun as it would be to be on the field after the game, no one's out there. Like, you're going to be seeing the players out there and stuff like that and have the energy in the stadium before the game. It's different. I would have loved to do the whole thing with it after, but it's not a bad thing. We're going to have a great time out there, on the field. You get your ticket, you get the whole thing. You get to go to the tailgate for a couple hours. You get to go in early and go into the field access, and then we go right up to our seats and scream our heads off as the Jets steamroll the Chargers on Monday Night Football. How's that sound? I love it. David says, Matt, did you see what Samini tweeted about Becton? A-hole trying to stir the pot again. I didn't talk about that yet, so I will pull that up. That's a really good call out, David. I don't know why he tweeted this. I don't know. I don't know what he knows or what he doesn't know, but let's pop that up. He says, Mekhi Becton, who sat out team drills in the offseason as he recovered from knee surgery, is ready to practice. He's in excellent shape, about 340, down 50 plus pounds, is poised to compete at left tackle. I'd be surprised if we see him at right tackle. I wonder really why that is, because Is Dwayne Brown like, do you guys really think he has a good shot to beat out Dwayne Brown? You would think that with just how the Jets usually tend to lean on those veterans, they like to give way to those veterans. And Dwayne Brown's exclusively played left tackle in his career. So Makai would have to ball, and Dwayne, I think, would have to look like, well, being a 40-year-old, or look like someone who had off-season surgery and isn't fully ready or fully back from it yet. I would be, I don't know. Does Samini know something we don't? That sounds surprising to me, right? And I guess to David too. That's why he asked the question. I would guess that Brown, Tomlinson, Titman, AVT, Becton would be the five across. That would have been my guess, but I don't know. Maybe. James asks, what's your honest opinion on the Jets record after those first 6 games? I have the Jets going 4-2 in those first 6 games. It is a tough schedule. There is no denying that it is a tough schedule. Let's pull it up, Jets schedule, and we'll go through the games that they got to play. We got it up on here. We're going to minimize for a second. Okay, so you got the Buffalo Bills. Oh no, I'm not showing the screen. So you got the Buffalo Bills at home, Dallas on the road, New England at home, Kansas City at home, at Denver, and then home against Philadelphia into the bye week in week 7. The 2 losses that I have for the Jets is Kansas City and Philly. They could beat any one of those. They could beat Kansas City. They can beat Philadelphia. I think the Jets have a team where they can compete with anyone, but I'm not going to realistically predict a 17-0 season. I'm not going to predict a 15-2 season. Like, it's the NFL. It's tough. You know how hard it is to win 11 or 12 games in a season, which is what I think the Jets do this year. I have them at 11-6, but I think the Chiefs and the Eagles get them. Sneaky trap game is Denver. I think they handle business against the Patriots, and Rodgers has owned Dallas. I think the Jets take care of business at home. Jets split with the Bills, so they get one at home. They beat Dallas. They beat New England. They start 3-0, and then they go into the bye week 4-2. And I think you're happy with that. Justin, what's going on, man? He says, I've had the same weird moves with group tickets. I did the post-game field to get the whole group on the field. For pregame, it was a certain amount of people only. And he says, I think pregame would be the best move. There we go. Thank you for hanging with us tonight, Justin. I really appreciate it. We were going back and forth on Twitter today. We were laughing about the leak, which was just the leak heard around the world. Good stuff. I'm excited about it. Like I said, it wasn't what we were originally planning, but we're still gonna have a great time with it. Steph Wynn says, I can't wait to see Becton as a Pro Bowl right tackle. If he stays healthy, I think he legit could be. I'm about to click on a Mikey Mal's comment, so let's see if I freeze again. I think we're good. He says, wasn't Samini the one hit by Hackenberg on the sideline? I don't know if he was. Somebody was. I don't remember, I should say, who it was, but that would be hilarious. I almost wish it was. Calvin says 5-1. Steph says 5-1. This is on the first 6 games. Just says 4-2. And got to beat Buffalo and New England in the first 3. Yep. Got to win divisional games. It's time. They started a little bit with it. They they win 2 divisional games last year, which is a step up in the right direction. From, they hadn't won a divisional game in years before that. Got to be at least 3-3 in the division. I'm predicting 4-2 in the division, but it's so important to win those divisional games. And enough is enough, man. I've been watching the Jets since 2003. Since I've been knowing what's going on is 2003. So this would be year 20. And I haven't seen a home playoff game because the last time they won the division was 2002. Just missed it. So yeah, it's time to take care of business. Crossfire, he's a member of the channel. He says, I have the Jets at 5-1 as well. Lost to Kansas City. By the way, if you hit the join button, you too can become a member of the channel. You get a nice little icon next to your name in the chat. Appreciate the support. Scott V says 3-3 to start the season. And then it gets much easier after that. I think there's a world where you could obviously see 3-3. I don't think it would be catastrophic if they started there. It does ease up slightly after that. You have Giants, Chargers, Raiders, Bills, Dolphins, and then really down the stretch here is pretty nice. Falcons, Texans, Miami's on the road is going to be tough. Commanders. This is Cleveland's a sneaky tough game on the road and on a short week, and then week 18 against New England. But yeah, that back half of the schedule, you could do some damage if you have a slow start. Rico says, I honestly think we could beat the Chiefs. Chiefs catch fire later in the season and we get them early. Plus, we match up real well. As always, Mahomes is the X factor, but on paper, we got more talent. That's the Super Bowl champs. That's the defending champions. They have the best quarterback in the sport. They have an unreal weapon in Travis Kelce at tight end. Any given Sunday, right? So I'm not sitting here saying the Jets have no chance to win. Of course they do. Of course the Jets have a chance to beat any team on their schedule this year. That's one of the games I'm predicting that they don't win. It just is. I think, can they? Yes, of course. And I think how you do that is you have to get home with your pass rush, number one. And number two is your corners have to do what they do best. Safeties deep scare me with Mahomes if he has the time. Kansas City's offensive line is so good, so that might be able to combat the Jets' pass rush. But I think it would be a close game and a tight game. I don't think that's, I'm not saying it's a double-digit Kansas City win. I think it's a tight game late in the fourth quarter. Michael says we could beat any team this year. It's all about execution. Amen. Execution. It's on coaching, everything. Like there's no more excuses anymore. It's year 3 for Robert Saleh. Joe Douglas has been here for a while. He's put, this team together. It's time to win games. It is absolutely time to win games. And you're right. It's about executing. If this team can execute, there you go. Just me too. Year 20 goes same here, dude. We got into it around the same time. Good stuff. Jack says, any starters play in the Hall of Fame game? Been a Jets fan since 1974. 11-6. I'm predicting 11-6 as well, Jack. I would be shocked if we see any starters. I think it's going to be a ton of the backups. I would expect to see a lot of Zach Wilson. I would expect to see, some of those depth guys that we talked about. Jason Brownlee fighting for a wide receiver's 6 spot. Who's the other one? Irv Charles, right? Is another receiver fighting for a spot. Kuntz, Jeremy Ruckert, you'll see. On the defensive side, Michael Clemens. Maybe like Will McDonald, you might see a little bit of Will McDonald and Jermaine Johnson, you might see a little bit. Barnes, Jamie and Sherwood, Tony Adams, Bryce Hall, Brendan Eccles, depth guys who, might have to play a little bit, but I wouldn't expect to see any big name guys. Rico says, what do you think the trap games are? I'm thinking Chargers and Broncos. Hopefully not the Chargers because that's the one that I'll be at. I predicted 2 losses that bothered a lot of people. And those were the 2. It's not either one of those 2 games. I have the Jets beating the Chargers and the Broncos, but I'll show you my 2 trap games and I'll explain why. The first is the Raiders. So you have a short week. It's a Monday night game at home, and then you're playing Sunday night on the road before you have to go on the road to play Buffalo. So I worry about 1, Jets on a short week, and number 2, looking ahead too much and focusing a little bit too much on the Miami and then Buffalo, and then the Miami game after that. So I have Raiders as a potential trap game. And I also have the Browns as a potential trap game. Short week, Thursday night, on the road. For whatever reason, those Thursday night games are always very weird. They're usually low scoring, and the home teams do very well on Thursday night football. So that is also, if I'm predicting 2 games, the Jets lose that they probably should win. And let's be honest, there's games every single year. every single year you go through the schedule and you say, okay, the Jets should win, or this team should win this week, this week, this week, and this week, and lose this and this week. But they win games they're not supposed to win, and then they lose games they're not supposed to lose. For instance, last year, I think a lot of people were not expecting the New York Jets to beat the Green Bay Packers on the road. Like that was not a game many people were predicting that the Jets would win that one. But I'm sure they were picking the Jets against Jacksonville. I'm sure they were picking the Jets against against the Detroit Lions later in the season. Every year, every team, the good teams and the bad teams. The I was just watching the quarterback documentary. Great documentary on Netflix, by the way. But they go through and the Chiefs lost to the Colts early on in the year. They were, it was rough. It happens. You just gotta, you gotta deal with it. This is a great one from Just says, side note, kid who leaked the throwbacks and got his stepdad's photo company booted must be having a lovely time at dinner this evening. He's down bad. He is in a terrible spot. Crossfire says year 37 for me since I understand what was going on. Love that. What else we got? Jack says Giants is a must-win game. We need the bragging rights or the media will destroy us. That's true. Don't sleep on the Giants. I have that as a win for the Jets as well. They're coming out of the bye, so they have the extra time to prepare. But that Giants coaching staff is so good. And that defense plays really hard. I really like their coordinator. I think he does a great job. So that's not going to be a walk in the park either. Good point by Jack. Yeah, that's so strange. David says, why does it feel like we play the Browns every year and the Broncos in their place every year? This will be the third year in a row the Jets are going to Denver. And the Jets played the Browns last year. Did they play them in 21? I don't believe so, but they played them in 2020. They played them in 2019. They played them in 2018. They played them in 2017. They played them in 2015 for sure. Maybe 2016. Yes, in 2016, because unfortunately it goes against where you finish in the division. And both these teams have been finishing at the bottom of the division a lot. Landon says, what Jets are you drafting in fantasy this year? I think I got to go Garrett Wilson. I think he has the biggest potential with Aaron Rodgers. I love Brees. I'm worried about how slow they bring him on from a fantasy perspective. Like, I think he's going to be good for the Jets. I still think he goes over 1,000 yards, which doesn't happen very often for Jets running backs. But from where he's going in fantasy drafts, I understand why some are apprehensive. So I would say of everyone, Garrett would be the one for me. J Boy asks, will we see a Jets logo at midfield? That is a yes. Not officially released. The Giants tweeted their picture, but having pretty good word that the New York Jets logo will be on the 50-yard line for home games, which is good. I'm used to just the NFL logo. I don't remember a time when the Jets logo was on the midfield. Devon asks if Lakin Tomlinson is a shoe-in at left guard. Could you see them trading, saving money, and starting McGovern with Tittman at center? Yeah, I do think it is a shoe-in for a couple of reasons. Number one, the regime really, really likes Lakin Tomlinson a lot. They've already pretty much said that AVT is going to be the starting right guard. And unfortunately, with how his contract is structured, it doesn't really make a whole lot of financial sense to move on for. It's a relatively big burden if you trade him at the, oh, I froze again. Son of a bitch. Come on now. All right, we're back. Sorry about that. I don't know why every once in a while it freezes up. It's a big, you're taking on a big number if you trade him. It's $5.88 million and you're only saving $5 million. The next year in 24, you could save 13 million and it would cost you 5.88 million. But I think he's on the roster for this year. I think they're going to give him another shot. Sneakers to Boots, he's a member as well. Make sure to join the channel. You too could be a member. Rogers in the throwback jersey will be an all-time record game for him. Book it. I think if they put those jerseys on sale, one, I have to get one, obviously, but I think I would get the Rogers jersey. I think you've got to do it. We have these comments back to back is why I love just debates in sports in general, because it's Brees is the safe pick, and then Rico says it's got to be Garrett. Normally, I would say the running back over the wide receiver, but the running back coming off the ACL versus the wide receiver who could go for 1,300 yards, I'm going to take the wide receiver. Oh, good question, Michael. I didn't see anything on this either. I'm going to assume yes, but none of the reporters said otherwise, right? There was no report that said, oh, Corey isn't here. So I'm going to assume yes. That's a great question. I have time for a couple more. We're just over an hour. We'll do a couple more in here. And then we'll head out for the evening on what was a really entertaining first day of training camp. Johnny says Cook will be a Jet. It's going to be a 2-year deal around 15 million. I see that as a great move. Yeah. It wouldn't be surprising. That number feels pretty close to being right. I don't think it's going to be some crazy high priced contract in order to land him. Mitt says, damn, CD is the most forgotten Jets on the receiver on the team. Agree. He is forgotten. Do you think the Jets did enough on the offensive line? I'm a little bit worried about the tackles. I won't lie to you, because one, Mekhi hasn't played really in 2 years, and Dwayne Brown's coming off an injury. They have more depth now than what they did last year, which depth is good, obviously. But the tackles scare me. I think on the interior, they are very, very strong. I think Tippmann starts right away. I think he'll be good. AVT back at right guard. I can't wait for that. I think Lakin is better this year. I don't know if he'll be Pro Bowl self, but I think he'll at least be an average starter. The big variance is going to be on the tackles. If both Becton and Brown are playing at their best, this could be a top 10 offensive line. If both those guys are hurt, this could be a bottom 10 to a 5 to 10 offensive line. So we'll do a couple more rapid fire in here. Thoughts on Mims getting cut? It was really only a matter of time. Not really too surprising. Should the Jets sign another vet receiver when Mims leaves? No, I think you give it to one of the younger guys. Jason Brownlee's been my choice, who I think is going to win the job. What's Green Bean going to do with the impending doom on Mims? He's jumping on the Jamie Sherwood bandwagon. He's been pumping him up. He pumped him up on the show last night. I wasn't on, but I tuned in after the fact, and he was pumping him up, and he's doing it again today on social media. So much more talent on the O-line, says Steph. And last one, we'll go to Mitt Flair, says, who do you think has more receiving yards this season, CD or Lazard? I think definitely Alan Lazard. He is comfortable with Aaron Rodgers. He has that stability. I think he ends up being wide receiver 2. And then I would say Corey, I'm going to predict like upper 700s, low 800s for Alan Lazard. Corey Davis around 400 to 500 receiving yards is going to be my guess. And he's probably 4th in receiving, but I would say Jets top 5 receiving yards people are going to be number 1, Garrett Wilson, number 2, Alan Lazard, number 3, Tyler Conklin, number 4, Corey Davis, and then number 5, I guess I'll go Hardman 5. So anyway, that's going to do it for me on this live stream. I appreciate you guys hanging with me on day 1 of training camp. We will be back tomorrow with more coverage. Thanks again. I'm Matt. Have a good night.